right, let's go Houston Texans here. Definitely some candidates here for the Texans. Do you want to start?
No, who you got?
So I went Derek Stingley. I mean, former number 3 overall pick. I think there's some people who thought he was fine last year. He had a lot of penalties. He was just didn't grade all that well. And the guy that went a pick after him, Sauce Gardner, was Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
And I don't think there was much difference between the two of those guys as prospects, right? Let's go back to what Stingley's done in his career. He had one of the best, if not the best, freshman season we've ever seen from a corner since 2014. And then didn't play as well after the fact and was hurt and was all sorts of banged up. And as a rookie, inconsistent. But Stingley has all the potential in the world. So I think that's an obvious one. Sometimes it feels like cheating when you take the most recent first-round pick and say he'll break out, but I think that's the guy to highlight. And then I want to highlight Titus Howard at right tackle. Another one. Some of my options are those offensive linemen who take a few years to break out. So he's heading into year 5, and he goes 59 grade, 62 grade, 51 grade. Last year, though, high 60s, and that's about when you're going to see a breakout from an offensive lineman. So maybe he did it last year, but maybe this year he gets up to the 75 range. Also playing right tackle in a Mike Shanahan or a Kyle Shanahan adjacent system. They just breed right tackles. So Titus Howard has a chance to break out from a grading standpoint this year.
They breed right tackles.
Yeah, it's a great right tackle system.
The Stingley versus Sauce thing is interesting because. So I think you're right that there wasn't a lot of difference between the two as prospects in terms of just an overall baseline, right?
Yeah.
But there was a big difference between how you got to that conclusion. So, when you see these scouting grades thrown out there, oh, this guy's a 6.7, this guy's a 7.2, whatever, they would have been really close in overall scouting grade. But I do think that Sauce was a significantly cleaner, totality of data points to get to his whatever it was, 7.2, blah, 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 than Stingley. Stingley's was sort of all based off that incredible freshman season. It's like if you can be that good right away and have the sort of prototypical size and measurables, blah, 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 then theoretically you're as good as anybody that's going to come along, right? We know it's in there, and we know coverage as a cornerback is volatile, so we can kind of give you a pass for the next couple of years with the injuries and blah, blah, blah. So you sort of have to throw out a reasonable amount of information to decide that Stingley was as good as Sauce, which is, I think, a fair thing to do. But you can now look back potentially with the year's worth of hindsight and say, well, maybe with looking, knowing now what we know, maybe Sauce should have actually been we should have weighted these things higher. But I do agree with you I agree with the other people who sort of say, he wasn't quite as bad as the stats and the PFF grade looked, because cornerback in particular, it's a results business, right? And if you're in good coverage, but you miss out at the catch point, you lose, you downgrade, you lost the play, the receiver won the play, you're going to get negatively graded. But particularly for young players, the first part is quite important. Being in close coverage at the time is a relevant piece of information, particularly when you're projecting forward to how that guy's going to play. So I absolutely wouldn't be shocked if Derek Stingley takes a big leap in year 2. I think he showed a lot of sticky coverage, even if he got beat a lot. I think generally the defensive side of the ball is the place to be for the Texans. With DeMeco Ryans coming in, I would bank on some random defender that's been there a while taking a giant step forward, like just becoming a guy we didn't think they could be based off a really good coach and a really good system coming in. So, Jalen Petrie will be a guy a lot of people highlight as well. I'm looking more at people like Desmond King, one of the linebackers, Corey Littleton, Denzel Perryman, the defensive end, Jonathan Grenard, who we thought would break out last year and didn't. Like somebody like that now in a DeMeco Ryans defense, becoming the player that we thought they could be.
You have the entire Texans defense breaking out. That's good.
Well, one of the entire Texans defense.
Just remember that, right? When we're trashing the Texans in our season previews and all that, just remember that the Texans have a decent group. It's a better group than they've been.
No. I just expect one of that collection of disappointing players to be good this year.
Okay, perfect.